Hi guys, it's Miss Felice here, and I am going to read a really awesome book that Mrs. Bash gave me. It is called Wonderful Worms, and it's written by Linda Glasser and illustrated by Loretta Karpinski. Now, this is a nonfiction text, which means that it is going to be giving us information and facts that we can learn about worms. But you might notice it has illustrations. A lot of times we're used to nonfiction texts having photographs, but this one has illustrations, and I really love it for a couple of reasons. One reason is that on each page, the illustrator included a different animal or creature that you might see in the garden. So as I'm reading, you can really pay attention to those pictures and see some of the different animals that might be growing in the garden. The same thing that made this awesome is that the illustrator also included some different fruits and plants and flowers that might be growing in a garden as well. So I think it's really cool that it's a nonfiction text, but it has illustrations so we can see all that extra stuff. So again, the title of the book is Wonderful Worms. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys the main idea, okay? So the main idea is that worms help plants grow, okay? And if you were in class with me when we started doing some gardening, we already know some reasons why worms are helpful to plants and some ways that they're helpful to plants. But today I want you listening to the text so that you can find some supporting details about how worms help plants grow, okay? So again, here's your main idea, and you're going to be listening for key details in the book. I'm going to be listening for key details too, and I have my little friend here with me. He still doesn't have a nose or a mouth. I still haven't fixed him. And part of the reason I haven't fixed him is because Shavi likes to grab him. So he used to have two little hands. Now he only has one. So I figure if I put a nose on, Shavi's just going to take it back off, you know? So he's going to be listening to the story too. He's going to stand right here. You can see his little hair sitting there. How's that? And then I'm going to go ahead and read the text. And while I'm reading, you are listening for key details of how do worms help plants grow? So that's what you're listening for as I read the text. Wonderful Worms. Wonderful Worms. Wonderful Worms by Linda Glasser, illustrated by Loretta Karpinski. Earthworms are fat and wiggly, like my fingers and toes. They live where it is cool and dark and damp, where roots spread out like underground trees. Worms feel sound with their whole bodies. They feel thunder when I walk. What a great description of how worms feel with their bodies. Someone walking above ground might feel like thunder to the worms underneath. They are wonderful diggers. They dig passageways and burrows. But they don't use shovels or fingers or toes. How do they do it? They eat their way through and move along. They stretch out long and thin and squeeze in short and fat. Stretch and squeeze, fat and big, move and dig. So you can see some are squished up, squeezing, and some are stretched out long. So you can kind of imagine them stretching and squeezing, stretching and squeezing, stretching and squeezing. Earthworms mix and turn the dirt as they dig and tunnel in the earth. Ooh, I'm remembering that my goal right now is to think about how worms help plants grow. And I just read in the text that it says they mix and turn the dirt. I wonder if that's helpful for plants. They make the soil soft and airy so the roots of the plants can breathe and grow. I think I have an idea. Worms don't have eyes or ears or a nose. They do have a mouth. And they need food, just like I do. But they eat dirt and rotting leaves. They swallow tiny pieces, and inside the worms, the food changes. When it comes out of their tail ends, it makes the earth rich so plants can grow. It makes the earth rich. Earth is the dirt or soil, and rich means it's full of nutrients so plants can grow. I'm thinking these might be some key details. Earthworms are my helpers, the underground gardeners. We work hard in the dirt in my garden. They're home. All right, that's the end of the book. There's a ton of questions and answers about earthworms in here, and next time that we look at this book, we'll talk about some of that. But for right now, your job was to think about, how do worms help plants grow? So I'm going to take my little buddy here. He's my classmate today because Morgan and Shavi are doing something with their dad right now. And I'm going to share with my buddy how worms help plants grow. So buddy, one thing I read in the text was that earthworms make the soil lighter and more full of air so that the roots have room to grow and breathe. I'm going to show you the page. I found that in the text because I have the text. Now you guys don't have your text at home, but that's okay. You can remember what you read. So here's that page, little dude, and it talked about how they make space for the roots, and you can see the roots right there in the picture. Oh, thanks for helping me point to it. Okay, so if you have a little friend at home, go ahead and tell him, or tell your dog or your toe, whoever, or a little pretend on your shoulder. What's one key detail about how worms help plants grow? Thanks so much for reading Wonderful Worms with me. You can comment and share what you remember from it, or you could always send me something on Class Dojo too. Miss you all, and I'll be back soon with some more videos.